Hello, everyone. Welcome back to AI for 2021. We have a wonderful presentation coming up, all queued up here. Please give a very warm round of applause for Alfredo Ramos. Alfredo, welcome to the virtual stage.
Thank you so much, Daniel. Let me share my screen.
Of course. I'll be here if you need me.
All right. All right. Hope you're able to see my screen. Again, like Daniel mentioned, my name is Alfredo Ramos. I'm the Senior Vice President of Platform at Clarifai. Thrilled to be here today with such a distinguished audience. And today I'll be talking a little bit about what Clarifai does for the retail and hospitality industry. Clarifai, I'll tell you a little bit about Clarifai. And maybe just to get things started, one of the things that I think is useful is for you to start thinking about maybe some questions or comments you may have around what you've seen as the biggest use cases or opportunities for using AI within retail and hospitality. It can be online or even offline in brick and mortar. But also, what are the challenges you see using AI for the retail and hospitality industries? First, a little bit about Clarifai. Clarifai is a leader in deep learning AI. And just to qualify that, when we think about deep learning, we think about the technologies and architectures needed to really be able to understand images, video, audio, and text. Clarifai has been around since 2013. We were founded by our CEO, Matt Zeeler. Back when he was at Google, actually, he was doing some work at Google under Jeff Dean, and he realized that the technology he was building for his PhD was outperforming some of the state-of-the-art technology that Google was building for its platform. And Matt had always wanted to start a company, and so he decided to have a go at it. He quit Google and he opened up a shop in New York City. Actually, so since then, Clarifai has grown a decent amount. We're about 100 people, and we are still headquartered in New York City, but we have clusters of offices in Washington, D.C., which is where I'm based, San Francisco, and Tallinn, Estonia. And one of the numbers that we like to share is we have a research team with over 170,000 citations. And this speaks to Clarifai's commitment to bring in state-of-the-art research into the commercial world, so commercializing latest academic research. We are venture-backed. We've got some wonderful investors like Unisquare Ventures, Menlo Ventures, Lux Capital, but also some large and recognizable companies like Qualcomm, NVIDIA, and Google Ventures. And back in 2013, when Clarifai was founded, it really came into the limelight, so to speak, when we participated in the 2013 ImageNet competition, which, if you follow the industry, is one of the preeminent computer vision contests. And when Matt joined with some of the work he had been doing for Clarifai, he won the first place, second place, third place, fourth place, and the fifth place, which speaks to the quality of the work that Matt was doing with Clarifai. And it also was just a great way to get Clarifai launched as truly having the world's best image recognition capabilities. Since then, we've continued to be recognized as leaders. Most recently, Forrester named us computer vision leading platform alongside Google, Microsoft, and Amazon, trillion-dollar companies. And so very humbled to be in the mix as bringing some of the most cutting-edge computer vision to the world. We've been recognized since then around multiple different awards. Recently, we joined the Gartner Cloud AI Developer Services, but we're also actually quite well known for some of the work that we do with government, helping the US government accelerate its use of artificial intelligence, and truly here building some of the world's most innovative computer vision and NLP capabilities, in this case with government. All right, so when we think about Clarifai, some of the things that differentiates Clarifai are the fact that we are fully integrated, one-stop shop for every step of the AI lifecycle. I'll talk a little bit more about that, but because we are so tightly integrated, when you're trying to get to value from your unstructured data, we find that people are able to really accelerate how quickly they're able to get insights and understanding from that unstructured data, something we're very proud of. But also we're environment agnostic. We don't need to be on, we can run on AWS, we can run on Azure, we can run on GCP. We can also run on air-gapped bare metal hardware, or even on low-powered devices like the NVIDIA Jetson series, both the NX and the AGXs. And so we really have a solution that is able to be deployed wherever your hardware or cloud infrastructure needs are. We try to bring our industry expertise to the table, co-creating with some of the world's best companies. And we really do try to bring AI to the world's developers and data scientists. And for this, we've tried to build a stack that's very easy to use, super powerful for not only data scientists, the most discerning of our users, but also fast enough for developers that are used to wanting to get stuff in kind of like agile methodology into production quickly. And when we talk about the Clarifai platform, we think of it as the following diagram, with the platform here in the middle, applications that are able to be built on top of the platform, the top, and I'll give you some examples of that as I go through my demos. And then, of course, at the bottom, some of our infrastructure, both from a network perspective and an infrastructure perspective. But I'll start with the platform very quickly. Because we are able to process image, video, text, and audio data at scale, that's usually where the journey begins. And we have a bunch of really interesting capabilities for being able to very quickly, as you add data to our platform, index the data and make it so that using AI, as the data has been added, automatically our system is able to tell you what's inside that data. More on that in a second. Last year, we launched a product called Scribe Label. And this is an automated data labeling solution. And it was actually only built last year because we first focused on building automated machine learning pipelines deeply into our platform, such that by the time that we were able to build a data labeling product, which is critical to building high accuracy computer vision or NLP models, we would be able to leverage the automation that is basically a first-class citizen in our platform. So we were one of the first companies to launch automated programmatic data labeling solution. And what we've seen is that people are able to label 100 times more data, 100 times more quickly than they would be able to if they were only relying on a human-in-the-loop capabilities. We, of course, also allow for large teams to use our Scribe labeling capabilities. And we have the relevant workforce and evaluation metrics needed to be able to gauge the performance of your teams. But now that your data has been labeled, and because we are dealing with unstructured data, which first of all, I'll say it's 90% of the world's data, and so it's heavy data. And it really is critical that you be able to search through that data. And our Spacetime product makes it so that you are able to very quickly index all of the data that's been put into the system, and then it makes all of that data searchable using our AI capabilities. Also, once all of that is ready to be managed, you're able to then move into our Enlight product, which lets you train both deep trained models on our platform and also quick train models on our platform. Quick training is quite innovative, and it's been patented technology that by being able to leverage some pre-trained models that Clarifai makes available, you're truly able to accelerate how quickly you can train a new model that understands the world that it sees based on these pre-trained models. And here we see that instead of having to take hours or sometimes days to train models, using quick training, you're able to train a new model in seconds using as few as a few dozen inputs. And that's some groundbreaking capabilities that we're proud to kind of be innovating in. Now you've got your model trained, or you can use one of the pre-trained models that we've built ourselves. And I'll talk about those in a second. But it's critical to be able to take those capabilities and launch AI into production. And to do that, we use the Armada product, which basically is a prediction inference engine. And what it does is it's able to scale itself for billions of hits a month, or even scale back down if your models are no longer receiving traffic. And what we see is that data scientists and developers, they're good with code or they're good with data, but you need an extra skill set to truly be able to power machine learning pipelines in production for scale. And that's where Armada comes in, and it lets you deploy AI to prod at a click of a button. To round this out, we've got a couple more products. Mesh is the ability to take graphs of models and string them together to solve some more complex operations. So if, for example, you wanted to be able to detect the vehicles in a particular video stream, and you want to be able to classify them into the make of the vehicle, the colors of the vehicle, perhaps how old the vehicle is, you're able to string together multiple different models into what we call a graph or a workflow and do some pretty complex things. And finally, we started to launch a product called Flare, which is our edge AI capability, where you're able to take basically video streams, both video and audio streams, and you're able to add intelligence on top of them by deploying the AI that you build on our platform to the edge, and then getting this extra level of intelligence on top of what you're seeing around you. At the bottom, some of the foundations, I'm not going to get into too much, but there's some really powerful capabilities around our data lake and making it so that the data that is being managed by our platform is feeding the models within our platform so that they're continuously getting more intelligent. And as these models get smarter, our users benefit from increases in accuracy. We're going to be announcing some more stuff around an AI community and marketplace later this year. So I'll put a bookmark on that. And of course, because we do some work with the government and the defense organizations, we abide by some of the strictest security capabilities, and that's something that is very important to us. All right. So when we talk about retail, we usually break up the sets of use cases into online use cases and offline use cases. And here you see some of the use cases in the industry that are quite popular. And this is not just use cases that our platform is able to do, but generally where the industry is looking for help using AI around online and offline capabilities. So for example, in the online world, retail companies or e-commerce companies are using AI to organize data visually using automated metadata generation, searching through images and videos based on their visual similarity, and using some of those capabilities to offer product and service recommendations. I'll show you briefly an app that Lowe's built using our technology to be able to snap images in the real world and then be able to recommend products for people to buy using this mobile app and our capabilities. Of course, beyond vision, language is quite important. And in the world of e-commerce, this spans into being able to analyze different types of text, ranging from the sentiment of reviews that users are leaving on your site, or comments that they're leaving for you on social media, but also to be able to categorize documents from your internal operations, perhaps product skewed templates, and being able to automatically use that textual data to categorize your products and get them online more quickly for people to purchase. And of course, with any company that's either accepting a lot of user-generated content or listing a lot of content online, you need to be able to moderate that content. And we've got some of the world's best moderation capabilities, moderating images, video in the computer vision realm, text in the NLP realm, and audio in the audio recognition space. Now, as you move into the offline use cases, it's really all about adding intelligence to the offline world. And we love this because increasingly what we're seeing in the retail world, but also in hospitality, is people looking to merge their online and their offline experiences using, think of it as like omni-channel intelligence, right? And now in the intelligent shopping world, you've seen companies like Amazon and Amazon Go start to offer frictionless shopping, where a customer that's walking through a grocery store aisle, as they pick up an object from a shelf, there's a computer vision camera that's basically capturing what it is they're picking up from the shelf and adding it into their basket, so to speak. So they're literally able to walk out of the store without having to go through a cashier. But there are also use cases around safety. For example, monitoring whether there's a fight breaking up, perhaps on Thanksgiving aisle at Best Buy, or maybe just at a stadium, whether there's fires and bombs exploding, or there's any type of commotion that is worth being alerted on. Of course, in the retail space, shrinkage is a problem, and increasingly people are using computer vision to detect theft and reduce the amount of shrinkage that they have to deal with in the retail environment. Managing inventory, as you can imagine, for example, keeping on with the grocery example, being able to detect whether shelves are need to be stocked or they have a low level of stock, and being able to alert back office personnel so that the shelves have the products that need to be sold. And increasingly, some of the more innovative things that are happening is people personalizing experiences like drive-throughs, automatically detecting your car or your face or something to be able to curate what they propose to you for repeat users or repeat shoppers in the drive-through setting, and even in a physical store when you're walking into a kiosk, using your face to try to detect who you are and recognizing and recommending what you could be purchasing. And then there's a whole set of use cases around getting more intelligence about the physical space, ranging from analyzing the demographics of your physical space or your brick and mortar store, for example. In this case, companies looking to match their product mix to their demographics. And so now increasingly people are able to know, what is the gender mix, the age mix, and even the ethnic mix of the people that are walking into my store, and using that type of intelligence to maximize the products that are on the shelves. And then optimizing your planograms, optimizing kind of the throughput of your store, and getting additional intelligence about the physical space. All right, so with that, I'm going to move on to a set of demos. And my intention with these demos is to give you a feel for the types of capabilities that computer vision, NLP, and others are able to power. Earlier, I mentioned that we have a set of pre-trained models that can help developers and data scientists get started. I'm not going to go through all of them, but we've taken some of the most popular use cases for computer vision, NLP, and we've tried to make some reusable models, for example, like I mentioned before, to detect demographics or faces and different types of food. I'll give you an example so you can start to develop some intuition on what this looks like. So in this case, we're using our general model. And the general model is a computer vision model that understands about over 10,000 concepts in the real world. And to give you a feel, here there's an image that's been uploaded. It's a stock photography of a boat on a lake during sunset. And on the right, you're able to see what the AI predicts for it, right? So in this case, it sees that there's a almost 100% probability that there's a sunset, there's a boat at dusk on top of water, there's a lake. And so you're able to, without kind of humans in the loop, you're able to kind of get a feel for what is inside this particular imagery. In this case, different example of a street. And here the AI is able to depict that there is a street, there's a bunch of traffic, it's likely an urban environment, a bunch of cars, there's transportation systems, buses, etc. And the AI does a nice job detecting all these objects and kind of like helping to increase the understanding. But it doesn't stop at objects. AI is also able to be used to detect emotions, for example. In this case, what you see is two people, and the AI is predicting love with 99.5% probability. In this case, it also sees a man and a woman outdoors, but it also calls out things like togetherness and romance and embrace. And so you start to see that, frankly, if you're able to see it with your eyes, you're able to build computer vision models that are able to recognize those same things that otherwise you would be relying on a human to use. And I'm going to play a very, very quick video. And the intent of this video is to give you a feel for how images and how videos can be processed for understanding. And so in the case of a video, because every video is essentially a collection of multiple different image frames, what we do is we send every frame in the video to our system. And what you'll be able to see on the right is our system is basically predicting different things based on whatever the content is of a frame. So in this case, the AI is seeing there's no people, there's an outdoors, and there's a landscape. Let's move to another frame here. Detects the mountain range and the landscape. and it's even detecting a sunset with 98% probability. All right, so here was snow and winter coming into play. Lakes and water. Now people appearing, adventure, a hike, and so on. So you're able to see how the AI is able to basically look inside every single image frame, and it's able to start seeing what's in it. I mentioned that computer vision is often used for moderation. This is really big in the retail space, where some companies have millions of people uploading things on a daily basis, and where you want to make sure that there's a certain level of brand safety, you need to be able to use moderation models, both on the images, the video, the audio, and the text. And so here, for example, we're showing how the AI is detecting drug. In this case, it's actually classifying this as a safe image, where in some cases, perhaps, there's kind of like a difficult to classify image. Here, there's some gore that's being detected by the AI. And here, there's some suggestive content that is being predicted. Now, I'm only showing you kind of a safe for work types of content, but you can imagine that there would also be different classifications around sexuality, more explicit content, violence, things like that. And so the good thing is you're able to use AI to do things that for humans would be on one end emotionally traumatic, but on one end it would be 10 to 100 times slower and more expensive if you actually had to have humans go through millions of different pieces of content on a daily basis. All right, so to give you more of a perspective here, I'm going to show you now, we talked about moderation for images, but this also applies to text. And so now we're inside of, Clarifai's tool. 1 second.
3-minute warning.
And here you're able to see how we are able to detect identity, or in this case, the AI is not detecting that there's any issue with identity, hatreds, or threats. But if I were to go to another piece, for example, here, we're detecting that there's some toxic content, some obscene content, some insult. And so the idea here is to prevent users from having to actually see any content that damages brand safety. In the world of computer vision, increasingly with social media, you're able to start not only, you're able to look into the images and also detect out the content within each image. And so you're able to start moderating that using some of these capabilities. But in the retail space, another thing that people end up doing often is you're able to, for example, get all the text within a particular piece of consumer packaged good. And by extracting the text out of, for example, a product imagery, you're able to start creating automatic metadata that can then be enhanced on your product listings. And on the right side, you see all of the data that's been detected, and you can use that to enhance all of your product listings. And you can do things like detecting license plates, so that when a car drives into your drive-through, you're able to detect who they are. I mentioned visual search earlier, and here I want to show you an example of an application we built for Lowe's, where there's literally millions of different SKUs that have been added, and you're able to use visual search to be able to detect if you're searching, for example, for black spectacles, you may be able to recommend other products that are similarly looking. In the retail world, oftentimes people use AI for logo detection, and so we have some pre-trained logo detectors that are able to detect logos within, for example, TV streams. And so what's happening right now, by the way, is our models are getting loaded, and that all happens automatically. Once it's been loaded, you're able to detect that the model sees Real Madrid on the right side, Emirates and Adidas. Similarly, you'd be able to do it on top of social media imagery, detecting the Nike logo, or perhaps even actually here, I think we have a Coca-Cola logo being detected with 99% probability. I wanted to very quickly give you a sense of some hospitality use cases, because one of the things that people are starting to think about doing is detecting the number of people that are in a pool space, for example, using some of our capabilities. But not only that, you're able to detect, the number of beach chairs that are open, for example, so that someone doesn't go into the swimming area if there's no features that are available. And then on the visual search side, I wanted to give you a sense of how people are using visual search to detect similar people. So in this case, I am searching for the image of this baby face, and it's able to find other babies wearing glasses randomly enough. Or for example, if I want to detect all the images of a particular person, you're able to, using our technology and visual search capabilities, detect all images of that same person. And then of course, as you get into more powerful capabilities, you're able to take things like detecting the faces of people and figuring out their multicultural appearance, in this case, their ethnicity, their gender, and also their age appearance. And with that, I'll stop. Thank you so much for hosting me. And I hope that this was a useful time for you to get a feel for some of the things that people are doing with computer vision and NLP in the retail and hospitality space.
Thank you so much, Alfredo. A big round of applause from the virtual audiences. I'm sure what you're getting right now. And if you're watching this, go ahead and do some networking, and we'll see you at the next session. Thanks so much. Bye.
Sweet.